Are You Nuts? A Tom and Scott Mystery, Book 7. Author, Mark Richard Zubro. St. Martin's Press, New York. Eric Aust, narrator. Chapter 2. Carolyn Blackburn walked into the room. She'd been superintendent of the River's Edge School District for several years. Now and before that, she'd been principal of Grover Cleveland High School. She'd been a decent boss, and I trusted her more than any other school administrator, which really doesn't say much. Carolyn was a heavy-set woman with silver hair and a broad, pleasant face that at the moment was packed with worried frown lines. Meg said to her, "You look frazzled." "Meetings with lawyers and more lawyers. We've got 3 separate lawsuits against the district and another in the offing. Time was you could run a school district and expect not to be front-page news." "It's not worth all those big bucks they pay you?" I asked. "They don't mint enough money on the planet to make it worthwhile," she replied. Her frown deepened. "I saw you on a few television shows this summer." "I missed them myself. My parents even had cable television and a satellite dish installed so they could tape some of the more obscure ones. I'm afraid they're going to make copies for everyone I know." She grinned briefly. "I admire your courage. I hope you and your lover are okay." "Doing about average, I guess." She nodded, then resumed frowning. "You've heard about the PTA meeting tonight?" "Just now." "You need me to leave?" Meg asked. "That isn't necessary. Tom, your situation is more volatile than I'd imagined. We did get a large number of calls over the summer as you were on more and more shows. After the Oprah appearance, the phones didn't stop for a week. These were mostly complaints. Oddly, and fortunately, most of them were not from parents in the district, but this Belutha person is dead set on getting you fired." "The PTA has the strength to hire and fire teachers?" "Of course not, but it's pressure on the school board that they're after. Politics, local or national, is about pressure." "I appreciate the help you've been over the years, Carolyn, but I'm not fighting about being in the closet here. If the school board wants to take action, I'll call my lawyer, the ACLU, and the Lambda Legal Defense Fund. This time it may come to that. I can't stop the PTA or the board. I still think you are an excellent teacher and an asset to this district. I will do what I can to protect you. Maybe nothing will happen. This board may have been re-elected with a lot of union help, but they are an independent lot. It's a good thing I'm only a year or 2 from retirement, or I'd resign. I may anyway." "Why quit?" Meg asked. "The board is out of control. School boards are supposed to set policy and make sure the money is spent responsibly and according to the law. Presumably, they leave the day-to-day running of the district to the administrators. Is that how you've seen things happen around here lately?" "They've been trying to micromanage the school district, and I haven't the slightest idea what they're doing. An administrator has to feel free to make decisions, not have a board constantly looking over his shoulder, playing a game of gotcha." "I'd never known a superintendent to be so frankly honest." "Please don't quit," Meg said. "You're too good an administrator, and too sane." Carolyn smiled. "Which is why I don't know why I'm still in education." She left. "If she's worried, so am I," Meg said. "Let's keep this in perspective," I said. "While my job is important to me, and I will certainly fight to keep it, losing my job would not be a total tragedy. I've saved money over the years, and Scott is a bit beyond very wealthy. If I get fired, we're not going to be eating gruel anytime soon." "Did you talk to Scott last night?" "For quite a while. I miss him. Before the baseball strike, he was gone on road trips for longer than this. But this is harder for him. Pitching is something he's done since he was a little kid. Being a celebrity spokesperson, athlete, and talk show denizen takes an emotional toll. He's hurting. Most of the time on the tour, we'd spend evenings into early mornings talking or holding each other. It wasn't passion or sex, but just a desire to comfort and soothe. He's worried about ever pitching again, being on the mound the first time and every time after with hostile fans prepared to physically harm him." "That's gotta be rough for both of you." But Scott isn't the first one playing has been tough for. I remember Jackie Robinson. How'd he get through it? People of goodwill, someone who loved him. Scott has that. Oh, well, it'd be enough? I wish I knew. What makes dealing with this worse is the radical gay groups who insist that he has to go out and pitch no matter what the cost. He could be injured or killed, but they don't care. They want him as poster boy, martyr. I think some of them want to bring him down as well. I don't understand. The jealous queens who've scrambled for their piece of the 5 o'clock news see Scott is coming out of nowhere and horning in on their turf. But Scott can do so much good. But petty jealousy is often the rule of the day. You know, the Chicago gay newspapers have had almost no coverage of any of this. Only after the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Sun-Times, and the New York Times had special articles on him did they even mention his coming out. A prophet is without honor in his own country. Maybe they're just fucking morons. There is that. I glanced into one of the boxes of computer materials. I'm never going to get any of this done. I've got an orientation meeting at noon with all the union building reps. Then one of the candidates for union president wants to meet with me. He wants my endorsement, although with me being a controversial figure, I'm not sure my word is going to mean much. You've got to remember, most of the staff around here have known you're gay for years, and they're pretty accepting. You may be more famous now, but you're still the person they know. You still command great respect, and there's a catch-it to your being famous, which adds its own luster. I've been feeling really lusterfully lately. Some people have all the luck. Who you back in the election could be important. People care passionately about who is in charge of the union, and bitter feelings can last for years. Who are you backing in the election? Neither one so far. Why not? I haven't heard anything impressive about either one. I heard each one claim he's committed to equal rights for all teachers, so it's a wash on gay rights. What does your gossip grapevine say about the two of them? Well, you know Jerome Blackensop in the math department. Here? I've been on 1 or 2 union committees with Jerome, but I don't know him well. I've never met the elementary candidate. Seth O'Brien? They both grew up in the Chicago area. Seth's been in the district 8 or 9 years. He's taken graduate courses in computer science at Governor's State, I think. He graduated from UCLA. Jerome's been here at least 10 years longer than you have. He got his undergrad degree at USC. I guess neither one was enamored enough of California to stay there. Somebody has to like these winters. Yeah, let's see. Both are married. Seth has a preschool-age child. Jerome's are older, maybe 1 or 2 in college. Both men are reputed to be friendly enough to work with. No affairs. Jerome's taken a variety of courses in numerous master's degrees programs over the years. Never stuck with anyone long enough to graduate. He's been involved in a lot of causes in the community for quite a while. I'll try to find out more. Kurt hasn't endorsed either one. I wish he was staying in charge. Rumor has it that Seth wants to fight to dump all the tenure laws. Is he nuts? That's the rumor. That he's nuts, or that he wants to dump the tenure laws. Probably both. I was going to suggest dinner tonight, but I think I better go to this meeting. You'll need a first-hand account, and I may need to lend my leather-lunged warble to the debate. I still live in this district. I've got a vote and a voice. You're a member of the PTA. Actually, you are too. Everybody on the staff is. It's part of the social club dues you pay $25 to every year. It is? You betcha. It sounds like serious issues and personalities are going to be on the line tonight. I've got friends that I can call. Is it that serious? A PTA can't have that much power. You heard Carolyn. I think she's right. I'm more worried about Scott than about what either the PTA or the school board will do. I've been making these brave statements all these years about not living in fear. I guess this will be the big fight. Possibly. People live to intrude where their noses don't belong. The meeting isn't just about you, though. There are other issues besides you. I wonder if Edwina is going to the meeting. Edwina Jenkins was the school principal. After teaching for a number of years, she'd gotten her administrative certificate and worked her way up through the ranks. Meg used her pet name for Edwina. Shit for brains probably has to show up. She's as useless as any administrator we've ever had. Try not to hold back, Meg. Let me know how you really feel. I guess she tells as many lies as any administrator. If she shows up, she won't be any help. I'm definitely going. I love a good fight once in a while. I'm in the mood to be nasty to a few people. She stood up. I've got to finish cataloging the new books that arrived over the summer, as well as plot, plan, and connive about tonight's meeting. I told her I would join her later to discuss strategy and possibly help make phone calls. Half an hour later, I'd assembled the computer equipment. This was progress. When it was new, it had taken me half a day and 3 calls to the helpline before I mastered the on switch. Next, I searched for my computer disks. I have a small collection that I use both at home and on the departmental computers that we share. I found the disks strewn in the back of my cabinet. I knew I hadn't left them there. I thought about hunting for the custodians to find out who had been in my room and why my stuff had gotten messed with. Was it important enough? My next visitor was Seth O'Brien. I was not expecting him. I had a meeting with Jerome set for 2 that afternoon. Can we talk? He asked. I let the computer hum to itself and gave him my attention. Seth was in his late 20s. He was tall and heavy-set, maybe a defensive lineman for a smaller college. He wore a loose t-shirt without any logo, baggy shorts, and sandals with white socks. Prior to Meg's information, I had known he taught 3rd graders in one of the elementary schools in the district. I'd heard he was a competent teacher. What can I do for you? I asked. I'm hoping to get your endorsement in the election, he said. I can't imagine my word is very important with all the controversy surrounding Scott. My name isn't going to be something to hang on a banner. People respect you, Tom. Members of the faculty listen to what you have to say. Your reputation is solid. Thank you for the kind words. I'm not sure who I favor for president. I think the elementary teachers in this district have been ignored for too long. We need to do more for them. What hasn't Kurt done? You high school teachers are always trying to run things. All the union officers are from the high school. All that extra money is spent for high school sports. We never get anything. Did you ever discuss this with Kurt? No. Why haven't you volunteered to be on the negotiations team? Why haven't you come to any other meetings? We're discussing it now. The problem with the transfer situation in this district is horrendous. In all the years Kurt has been president, not one elementary teacher has been given a job in the high school. This was a sore spot in many unit districts. Many elementary teachers saw upper grade and high school jobs as more prestigious. As grievance chair and building rep, I didn't deal with any inter-school hassles. Have any of the elementary teachers applied for the jobs? Of course. It's not fair the way the elementary teachers have been treated in this district. He'd used the magic words. It's not fair. I'd heard that refrain so often I was more than sick of it. Besides the obvious response of, life isn't fair, there were other problems with it. Too often when people say, it's not fair, what they really mean is, I'm not getting my way. Further, by overusing it's not fair, that which is truly not fair becomes trivial. I didn't have the energy to get in a big fight with him about it, but I did ask, what other things are the elementary teachers upset about, and why? If they are so important, weren't they brought up to Kurt before this? He said, planning time. High school teachers have more planning time than we do. We teach far more subjects than they do. They only have to plan for 1 or 2 subjects. We've got over a dozen. That's not fair. I hear you're in favor of ending all the tenure laws. Oh, yes. Are you nuts? There are too many unqualified teachers in the schools. Do you understand what tenure means? I didn't give him a chance to answer. For public school teachers in this state, it simply means they have to give you due process before they can fire you. It means An administrator has to tell a teacher what they are doing wrong and give them a chance to fix it within 90 days. How is that a burden? The teachers' unions are out of control. And you want to be the head of one? Are you nuts? I think we should have the IEA come in here instead of the IFT. This referred to an old feud between the Illinois Education Association and the Illinois Federation of Teachers. For years there had been bad blood, raids, and nasty feuds between the two groups. Fortunately, for the past few years, the two groups had been having merger talks and had signed a no-raid agreement. That meant neither group would try to get the other out as the exclusive bargaining agent in any school district. I remembered vaguely we'd had some problems like this many years before I started teaching at Grover, Cleveland. The way I saw the merger talks was that they gave chronic complainers one less threat to make when they were pissed off. Battles between teachers could leave scars and wounds that might never heal. I explained to Seth about the no-raid agreement. His response was, "It doesn't hurt to talk to them." I wasn't in the mood to argue, and I didn't see this discussion as going anywhere. But I was curious. "Are you going to the PTA meeting tonight?" I caught him off guard. "I don't think the union needs to be involved in that kind of controversy." "Which kind?" "You know, with elections. I don't think we should have endorsed anyone in the past school board races. Look how that Belutha muffin has turned against us. I don't remember her ever being for us. We could have had 3 more just like her if we hadn't endorsed anybody." "I don't know that. Those people who are supposedly on our side might have won anyway." "Or maybe not." I wasn't willing to take a chance. How can someone be union president without going out on a limb sometimes? "Obviously, you do take chances. I know that at least one of the PTA candidates has been talking about you and your friend being on all those television shows. You probably shouldn't have been." "Why not?" "It stirs people up. It makes it harder to defend you." "I'm not hiding in anybody's closet." "Well, that's your decision." I wanted to end this interview and get back to work. I said, "I have an appointment with your opponent this afternoon. For now, I'm holding off endorsing anyone in the election. No matter who wins, I'd like to see you remain as grievance chair." "I love politics. Whether it's on a national scale or a little local union election, it's favors, promises, and compromises." I laughed outright. "Seth, I'd be happy to let you have the job, starting right now." He edged further toward the door. "Well, no, we can talk about it after the election." He scuttled out. His performance just then did not endear him to me. I began to think about the possibility of endorsing his opponent. The next person who said, "It's not fair," near me better be wearing a suit of armor. I turned to begin dragging more computer equipment out of the boxes. At noon, I met with the building reps and several officials from the union local office. The reps got the standard patter about do's and don'ts. I'd heard it before, so I tuned a lot of it out. No one made mention of Scott, celebrity status, television shows, Beatrix, Zuri, or the PTA. Good. Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold. To offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides. And in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.